Have you ever noticed that the harder you chase her, the faster she seems to pull away? You text more, you call more, you try to show her how much you care, but instead of bringing her closer, it creates distance. This is not just bad luck. It's psychology. The more you push, the more her mind feels pressure, and that pressure turns into resistance. Right now, you might feel frustrated, wondering why she isn't seeing your effort, why she doesn't recognize your value. But here's the truth. Chasing is not the way to win her back. In fact, it's the exact behavior that makes her lose interest. There is another approach, one that flips the script. When you stop chasing and do something different, her curiosity returns, her attraction builds, and she starts to see you in a new light. If you're tired of wasting energy and ready to regain your power, watch this entire video. It might be the turning point in your love life. Subscribe now so you never miss strategies that put you back in control. Point number 1, why chasing pushes her away. Have you ever found yourself checking your phone every few minutes, waiting for her reply, only to feel that sting when the screen stays silent? You tell yourself, maybe if I send one more message, she'll finally notice how much I care. But the more you reach out, the more distant she seems. It feels unfair, doesn't it? You're giving your all, yet she's slipping further away. Think back to a time when you liked someone so much that you couldn't stop thinking about them. Did you ever feel that pull to chase harder, as if showing more effort would prove your worth? How did it feel when they didn't respond the way you hoped? Here's the strange truth. When you chase, you don't create closeness. You create pressure. Imagine someone constantly following you, trying to grab your attention at every turn. Wouldn't your first instinct be to pull back, to create space? That's what happens in her mind. The more she feels you chasing, the more she feels the need to retreat. And here's the part many men overlook. Attraction is not built by proving how available you are. It grows when she feels free, when she wonders about you, when curiosity replaces certainty. By chasing, you remove that mystery. You make yourself predictable, and predictability often kills desire. Ask yourself, has there been a moment when you pulled away, maybe even unintentionally, and suddenly she came closer? Why do you think that happened? Could it be that your absence created a spark that your presence had been smothering? When you recognize this pattern, everything starts to make sense. It's not that she doesn't care. It's that human nature pushes against pressure. And if you keep chasing, you'll keep driving her further. The real key is learning how to step back, to let her feel the space and to give her a reason to miss you. What would happen if, instead of chasing, you allowed her to come to you? Could that change the story of your love life? Point number 2, the power of stepping back. Have you ever noticed how powerful silence can be? One moment you're reaching out constantly, trying to fill the gap, and the next you decide to pause. You step back, and suddenly everything shifts. She starts to wonder, why isn't he texting me? Why isn't he chasing like before? That small change plants a seed of curiosity. Think about a time when someone pulled away from you. Didn't it make you wonder what they were doing, who they were with, and why they weren't giving you the same attention? That feeling of uncertainty often sparks more desire than constant reassurance ever could. When you step back, you do more than create space. You signal self-respect. You show that your world doesn't revolve around her every move. And that's attractive. Why? Because people are drawn to those who have their own lives, their own purpose, their own center of gravity. Let me ask you this. What happens when everything becomes too easy, too predictable? Do you treasure it the same way, or does it start to lose its value? Stepping back reminds her that your attention is not guaranteed, and that scarcity makes it more meaningful. Picture this. You're not blowing up her phone. You're focused on your goals, your health, your friends. You're living fully. And in the background, she notices. She feels the shift. Suddenly, she's the one checking her phone, wondering why you haven't reached out. That's the power of stepping back. This isn't about playing games. It's about restoring balance. It's about creating room for her to invest, to reach out, to show her interest. Because if you never stop chasing, she never gets the chance to come closer. So ask yourself, are you willing to let go of control for a moment, to let her feel your absence? Could stepping back be the very thing that makes her step forward? Point number 3, triggering curiosity and attraction. Have you ever noticed how the less you reveal, the more people want to know? Curiosity is one of the strongest forces in human connection. When she feels like she has you all figured out, her mind relaxes and her interest fades. But when there are gaps, when she can't quite read you, she leans in. She starts asking questions. She starts thinking about you when you're not around. Think back to someone who once fascinated you. Was it because they told you everything right away? Or was it because there was something mysterious about them? Maybe it was the way they carried themselves, the way they didn't feel the need to overshare, the way they seemed content in their own world. Didn't that spark a desire to know more? This is the power of curiosity. And when you combine it with attraction, it becomes magnetic. Attraction isn't built through chasing. It's built when she starts to wonder about you, when she notices the subtle changes in your energy, when she realizes you're not waiting by your phone. Ask yourself this: if she already knows you'll always be there, where's the excitement? But if you step back, focus on your own growth, and move with quiet confidence, she'll begin to wonder, who are you when you're not with her? What are you doing? Why does she feel like she's losing your attention? That wondering is what pulls her back in. It's not about manipulation. It's about shifting the dynamic so that she invests energy too. When she feels curiosity, she also feels attraction. When she feels attraction, she takes action. So think about your own story. When was the last time you left someone wanting to know more about you instead of giving them everything up front? What would happen if starting today, you became a little more unpredictable, a little more focused on yourself, and let her curiosity do the work? Point number 4. What to do instead of chasing. Have you ever thought about how different the outcome might be if, instead of chasing, you simply pulled your energy back into yourself? Chasing drains you. It makes you anxious, restless, and desperate for validation. But when you stop chasing, you give yourself the space to breathe, to focus on what makes you valuable in the first place. Think about a time when you got so caught up in winning someone's attention that you forgot about your own needs. How did it feel afterward? Did it leave you stronger, or did it make you feel smaller? Now imagine flipping that script. Instead of pouring all your effort into convincing her, you redirect it into your own growth. What does that look like in practice? It looks like working on your fitness not to impress her but to respect yourself. It looks like spending time with friends, pursuing your goals and living a life that excites you. It looks like building a world so full that she can sense the difference the moment she steps back into it. Here's the surprising part. When you stop chasing, you don't lose her. You create the possibility of her chasing you. Why? Because attraction thrives on independence. When she sees that you're not sitting around waiting for her, she feels a pull. She wants to know what's happening in your life, why your energy feels different, and why she suddenly isn't the center of your universe. Ask yourself this: what kind of man do you want to be remembered as? The one who begged for attention, or the one who carried himself with quiet strength and let others gravitate toward him? The truth is, you don't need to chase. You need to step back, focus on your own life, and let her curiosity and attraction rise naturally. What would happen if starting today, you stopped chasing and started living as if you were the prize? Point number 5. Reclaiming control in the relationship. Have you ever felt like the relationship slipped out of your hands? Like she was the one setting all the terms while you just followed along? That loss of control can feel heavy. You start to question yourself, wondering what went wrong, why she no longer looks at you the way she once did. But here's the truth: you don't have to stay in that place. You can reclaim control not by forcing it, but by shifting the way you show up. Think about this. When did you feel the most confident in past relationships? Was it when you were constantly chasing, or was it when you were focused on your own path, grounded in who you are? Control doesn't come from convincing someone to stay. It comes from knowing your worth and living in a way that reflects it. Reclaiming control starts with boundaries. What do you allow and what do you refuse to accept? If you've been tolerating disrespect, indifference, or neglect, ask yourself why. By saying no to what drains you, you create space for what empowers you. It also means living with purpose outside of the relationship. When your life is filled with goals, passions, and people who support you, she feels that strength. And strength is attractive. It reminds her that you are not dependent on her approval to feel valuable. Ask yourself, if she walked away today, would your world collapse or would you still stand tall? That answer tells you how much control you truly hold. Reclaiming control doesn't mean pushing her away. It means showing up as the man you were before the doubts, before the chasing, before the desperation. The man who was confident, independent, and centered. That is the version of you she was drawn to in the first place. So, what would shift in your relationship if you started leading with that energy again? Could it be the very thing that makes her come closer? Not because you chased her, But because you finally reclaimed yourself, you've probably realized by now that chasing never brings her closer. It only pushes her away. But when you step back, when you reclaim your focus and let curiosity and attraction do their work, the entire dynamic changes. She begins to notice your strength again. She starts to feel that pull that only shows up when you stop giving yourself away so easily.
I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this.
It means a lot that you're here, reflecting on your own story and working toward becoming stronger, more centered and more in control of your relationships. You're not just watching a video, you're investing in yourself, and that's powerful. If this message connects with you, I'd love for you to join this community by subscribing. It helps us grow, and it means you'll always have a place to come, back to when you need guidance or perspective. And if you found value in this, a simple like goes a long way. I'd also love to hear your experiences. Have you ever stepped back and seen her come closer? Share your story in the comments. Your insight might inspire someone else who's going through the same struggle. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.